I was this close to be like, you down to lay a towel down? I was like, does blood bother you? I was about to be like, you ever seen motherfucking salt burn?
Proper. Proper.
Hey guys, welcome back to Proper. I'm your host, Alexis. Let me set the motherfucking tone for you off rip. It's Tuesday for me, Thursday for you. I'm off. Thank God. I've been off since yesterday. No, well, I've been off hold on. Hello? Speak? I just took a hit. Hold on, let me get it together. I was off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Having 4 days off in Q4 is such a privilege that I am holding on to so tightly, as tight as this celibate every time. I always have to flaunt of how tight my is. And I apologize. If you had a tight cat, I feel like you would talk about it all the time too. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm feeling jolly. Tis the motherfucking season. Who's excited? All right. Being off of work is like also a form of manifestation for me because then I'm also like, okay, let's try to imagine what this would feel like every day, being able to prioritize proper and thank you Lex and all the things. And it just feels so good. It's my happy, horny, healthy week. If you can't motherfucking tell, I am positive, filled with joy. All right. Let's jump right in though. I think we should just start ready to get proper low. If you're new here, every week we get proper low and proper high. Your proper low is something that you overcame that week. And did I say proper high? I mean, your proper low. I don't know. Your proper low is something you overcame that week. Something a little, negative, if you will. That's subjective, but you determine that. And then your proper high, pH, always up. We're clean girls around here. Something that you can find gratitude for. And then we'll go through our proper recs of the week, PR, our PUs or story times, if any, and then our proper point of the week, which I'm super excited to get into this week. Anyways, also really loving the Thursday releases. Tell me if you agree. I know this is only the second week, but it feels good to not like have the panic at the beginning of the week because I just was not being able to handle it. Oh my God, wait, that reminds me. I just realized I need to edit you low key tonight because tomorrow I have a little influencer event and then you're released on Thursday. Fuck, I did not plan this right. But it's okay. Anyways, proper low this week. Since it's my happy, horny, healthy week, it was a little difficult for me to find a proper low. Although, like, I could find one because even with my happy, horny, healthy week, I'm still like, I have like diagnosed chronic depression. Like, it's an imbalance that should be medicated. So, like, I'm still depressed. Like, even if I'm trying to cover it up. But part of what I'm going to talk about with you this week is how important our words are, which is something that I always know and I always carry. But with like chronic depression, it's difficult sometimes. And I can give into the narrative, like a negative narrative. And I'm really practicing not doing that anymore, which I'm always practicing, right? Because right after I'm done ovulating and I go into that stupid little phase that we have for 14 fucking days pre-period, I could very well get negative again. And guess what? That's okay. We're learning our hormone cycles, which we're going to get into with our PP this week. Because let me just preface this episode is if you want to improve your life for the next 50 days that we have. Listening to this episode is a good fucking jump start, okay? So continue listening. But I'm always here to entertain you. So we're going to have some entertainment, okay? So my proper low this week, sorry, it's taking me forever to get here. 5 minutes in, it's taking me forever. My lower back is hurting and I'm having, I'm a gym girl now, whatever. Something like. And I hate working out glutes and legs because my lower back always hurts and it's sore and I think it's necessary because I think it's growing muscle, but also carrying all this weight, like with my heavy ass, like my wagon, like no joke, it hurts. And I already have herniated discs from an accident that I had in Austin. I have 6 herniated discs, 3 in my like neck and then 3 in my lower back. So I got to be extra careful. And y'all know I turned 30 this year. And like shit really does change as soon as you hit the big 3-0. I'm going to be real and raw with you. I'm crack-a-lacking. I need to stretch. Like if somebody could fold me up into a ball and just like let me breathe That sounds so nice just to get that pressure. Or if somebody could hold up my ass and allow me to just stand with my ass held up, that would feel so relieving. So, yeah, my lower back is fucking hurting. And with the cold weather, I feel like it hurts more because you're scrunched, the joints are just all tight. Oh my God, like that even hurt. Oh God. So yeah, I'm tired of being sore, but whatever. I'm still working towards being like getting into the best shape that I've ever been in, which I'm also having a little bit of like a body moment. I don't know what's happening. I was looking at old videos and there's some where I'm like, oh, I remember when I was getting that heavy. I was just thinking I could do this. I see a file here. Oh my God, I'm gonna hold on to this like this, period. I was like, there's moments where I was seeing where I was getting heavier. And then there's moments where I saw how like tiny and like thin I was getting. And right now I feel like I'm like bulkier. And I don't know if I'm fucking with that vibe. Like, and I don't even, I guess it's muscle, but I'm still so fluffy. Like I have a soft body. So I'm like, am I getting fat? Am I gaining muscle? Is this 30? I don't know. There's a lot of fucking questions, but whatever. People still give me a lot of hype and praise about my body, so I will continue being positive about her. But there's times where I'm like, you look a little different, but that's the beauty. That's the beauty. Our bodies change, our minds change, the seasons change, and that's okay. Being able to gracefully accept these changes, I would say, is the key to this whole life thing. Maybe, which is being present, which is a present. Hello. Anyways, proper high this week. As you can tell, it's my happy fucking horny healthy week. All right. Triple H week, best week of the motherfucking month. As we know, real ones understand, especially if you've been, attempting to cycle sync and understand your hormones a little bit more, which has really helped with my self discovery and a little bit of evolution of just like understanding myself more and truly accepting the changes that we go through every single month or every single week for every month because we're ruled by the moon. Did you know that? And that's the difference with men. Men, they go through these cycles every single day the way the sun does. We go through cycles the way the moon does for the whole month. I don't know if you know that. I hope that was like a good little lesson for my proper putos on here. I don't know why the fuck you guys still listen. No, I'm just kidding. I love that you guys listen. I really do. I know why men listen, why straight men listen. I was raised by straight barbaric men. So my humor and energy is quite masculine. So it truly does make sense why men like listening to me speak. Do I like it here? Questionable. Most times, no. If we're talking about those 2 weeks, absolutely not. I despise men. Which, speaking of, sorry, I'm bouncing around right now. I'm just so excited to talk to you. I'm so excited to be off. A lot of yous who are married were telling me how you can't stand your man during that week too. And that was so relieving. If you're single and if you're curious like me, a couple episodes ago, I was like, how do you continue being in love with somebody? How do you even like find anything, the will to be around a man, let alone even to have sex when you're during that phase? And girls were like, yeah, no, they just know. And I'm like, okay, so men could accept it. That's beautiful. I hope this lighting is okay. I'm like, hold on, let me make it more yellow. Is that better? I don't know. Anyway, so that was like nice and reassuring that we're allowed to still feel like this even when we're in committed relationships and the right man or partner will understand it. But yeah, with my happy, horny, healthy week, I'm feeling grateful and I really try to take advantage of these weeks to like build healthy habits and recognize like the privileges that I have. And just find gratitude in everything. And that's, like I said, gonna bring me to my PP, my proper point this week, which is essentially how to shift your mindset with these last 50 days that we have, specifically speaking to, and I feel like it could be relatable for all of my listeners because I know that I have parents that listen, single women, single men, working motherfuckers, bitches that don't got jobs. I know all of yous is here and I feel like the PP this week is going to be really valuable for you. And it's going to go against lock-in culture because again, you know how I feel about lock-in culture because when are we not locked in? We're always locked in, right? I want to be locked out and maybe that's what was going to happen. We're going to lock ourselves out for the next 50 fucking days. All right. So stay tuned. Before we get into that, we have a fucking syllabus. I'm a Virgo. I'm here to remind you every day we follow the rules. What's next? What's next, you guys? Tell me. We went through our pH, our PL. What's next? PR of the week. I have none. No, I'm just kidding. I'm always going to find one for you. But this week's is a repeat. I haven't really been consuming much besides whatever like reality shows that are coming out for me. One of them being the best franchise of Bravo history, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Are you fucking watching it? This is your sign. If you have been wanting to get into Real Housewives or whatever, I would always, here's going to be my introduction. All right, just a little 101 for my PPs who want to get into Bravo, who want to get into the Real Housewives franchise. You first start with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Why? It's the best franchise they've ever came out with. Every single episode, iconic, 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 iconic. They've set the bar so high that even OG franchises could not meet it. And I'm speaking for like OG New York, Jersey. They've set the bar pretty high, but Salt Lake City, prime reality television. And if you don't understand the art of reality television, I can make a whole fucking episode for you. Okay? Honestly, this whole podcast is an advocate for reality television. Anyway, Salt Lake City this season, as every season, amazing. The next one I would start with is OG New York. And I would specifically reco that if you're like more of an East Coast vibe of a person, because like every franchise is dependent on the city. So like Beverly Hills is going to feel much different than New York City. Salt Lake City is going to feel much different than Potomac. Like they're on different regions of the nation, you know? So next, New York. Next, 1 through 5 Potomac. Season 1 through 5 Potomac. Get out of my face. The best. Wow. I could talk about this for days. That and the aesthetic is different. It's more like Southern, like East Coast Southern. So, like, if you're from Florida, Georgia, Bama, you know, Carolinas, that type of area, I would say Potomac, you could relate to the aesthetic and the decisions that some of the women make. Miami is really good too. Miami had a big gap and then they're back. I love Miami because there's mad Cubans on there. It's really cool to see that representation of Cuban women and with money and stardom within reality TV, like in such a white woman dominated space. Like it's really cool to see that. And yeah, I've never watched Orange County. I don't relate. Like the only reason I've watched Beverly Hills is because there's certain people on it that I was like so interested in outside of the show. And then it just became like, you know, something that just felt so good. Like Beverly Hills is so good through and through. Beverly Hills is so good through and through because there's been multiple like moments where the cast has been really fucking good with different people. And Kyle Richards being in every single season is iconic. So yeah. Anyways, proper rec, Salt Lake City right now, and all of the Bravo. Okay, next we have a little funky PU, which is gonna be a story time for you that I've been hoarding. I'm gonna tell this story in a really fun, quirky, happy, horny, healthy way, but know that it took a big toll on me. It really, really dampered me. Is it dampered or tampered? Put a damper on it, but tampered is, I think I could use both terms there. Anyways, okay, it's a story that happened within work. And if you don't know, I work in influencer marketing with my full time job within the corporate side. And I've been there for about a year now, over a year now. And I do like the corporate other side of influencer marketing, including events and overnight trips and brand trips and all the things. And there's some that I've posted, there's some that I haven't posted, like some I'm not allowed to talk about, some I am, whatever. So I'm not going to give you too much context. This story is something that I did not post about just because I know how fucking nosy you fucking PPs could be. As you should be. It's proper as fuck to be nosy. Proper as fuck to be nosy. It's okay. You're safe here being nosy. But I'm letting you know, like, there's no trail and there's no like, oh, I wonder if it was, I didn't post about it. And so it was an overnight trip that I was on, and I had a few influencers that I had to manage. And when I do that, essentially, like, you know, the rep that's on site for the brand and for the influencers, and to just, I'm essentially like a glorified fucking nanny for these influencers sometimes. So it's an overnight trip for a brand, and everybody had a plus one. Some people brought like their friends, some people brought their photographers. This story in particular is about an influencer who brought her photographer. And I could say so many different things about this fucking trip in particular. I'm gonna reserve it. However, it was a hefty trip. It was a lot of work. I had to fly a long time. I had no sleep. I had a busy week, and I like within influencer marketing, like you don't really get days off. So me going overnight for a trip, I don't get like the next few days off whenever I'm back. Like I don't get a weekend. So at that point I was going on like 14 days of work, and that's just countering in my day job. And so I had an influencer trip or an influencer event for Thank You Lex the night prior to me flying out. As soon as I flew out and got to the destination, I had to work and like set up the rooms and do all of the things. So I was on go. I was on my feet. I packed that morning. I was floating. And I say that because there's certain decisions that I was making that I don't know, but I was floating and I had just started my period. And again, we're cycle syncing. We have more awareness now of how reactions can be different and decisions can be different and feelings can be different and horniness levels can be different. Everything can be different every single week being a woman, which is beautiful. Truly love it here. I wouldn't want to be anything else. And so I'm not feeling like my prettiest, whatever. It's a work trip. I take work very serious, which I think you could imagine. Like, I know I give like a really fun personality, but you see how stern I could get. And like, I'm a Virgo, Scorpio, Virgo, stellium. I mean business. And so I take corporate very seriously. I've been in corporate since I was 19. And I just take myself serious. And my career means a lot to me in every capacity, even if I don't want to continue down the line of corporate for the rest of my life. I do value what I learn from it. And I just value a lot of teaching, and I value teaching and I value my career. And so I'm working heavy. My manager's also on this trip with me. And her and I, she's an Aries. We've had a few tussles in the past, which makes sense. I think that if you don't know, there hasn't been one time where management liked me unless they had a crush on me and it became harassment, which has happened in corporate. But managers have never really liked me, especially if they're women, unfortunately. But whatever. We can like fake it till we make it. We could be friends, whatever. Like we're just girls at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're all just girls. So it's like sisters fighting. So we're all working, blah, blah, blah. This creator flies in super late. And so does her plus one with her. Like I booked everything. So we greet them and I'm like, damn, like her plus one is like kind of cute. Like, don't fucking play with me. Because I was like, I look so crazy. I've been working so much. Like, that's kind of insane. But then I was like, Lex, it's a work trip, whatever. Because I'm also having a hard time in this moment choosing between like, am I thank you, Lex? Am I Alexis Fernandez who works at such and such? Or am I like Lex, the creator, like me, like the person who's pursuing whatever it is that I'm pursuing within entertainment and creative entrepreneurship? But I was like, because I feel like I have to tone down Lex, me, real me, when I'm being Alexis Fernandez who works for such and such, And maybe I'm having an identity crisis, but I also read that having a Virgo rising means I'm always going to be searching for my identity. So I feel like I'm in the right place. But anyway, he's fine as fuck. We have an early morning with this creator. She's somebody that I advocated for with this brand. So like, if you don't know, just a little spiel, like within influencer marketing in particular, it's all about who you know. It really is. It's all subjective based on how somebody views you in that room, right? So when I'm advocating for a creator, that means like I'm selling these creators to a brand. I have no affiliation with these creators because I don't manage them. I manage campaigns for the brand's behalf, like I'm on that side. So me advocating for a creator is truly because like I see the value in them, I fuck with them, whatever. So I'm always gonna do it like for the girls. You know what the fuck I'm saying. For the girls. You know what the fuck I'm saying. So anyways, she's somebody I advocated for. It ended up being a situation, I'm gonna get it out of the way. She ended up being very diva. She had a few moments that she really just disrespected me, completely disrespected me. Like, didn't see me as a human being at some points, like, completely ignored me. Very nasty. And you hear these stories of like, don't meet like, your favorite creator, whatever. And I don't have a favorite creator because I'm my favorite creator, which I think is beautiful. Like, no cocky shit. Like, I think you should, if you are a creator, you should be your favorite creator. And we're talking about like content creation, not like artist in general. But she was somebody that I advocated for. So her being so diva was like a damper on shit. Because remember, I'm tired. I'm also a salary employee, so I don't get paid extra for any of this shit. So that's also in my head. I'm on my period, so I'm heavily bleeding. I'm tired. I'm annoyed, whatever. So the amount of work that I'm putting into this for a bitch who's getting paid 70 grand, all expenses paid for to be on this trip, plus 70 grand for the real or for the deliverables was just like it was hard on my mental because I'm like, I should be here, Which I'm not gonna get into that mindset or that shift because comparison is the thief of joy, as we know. And that's essentially another layer to this and where I was in my placement of this. But anyway, she did a little switcheroo multiple times. So in the morning, she was great. So we had an early morning, and the photographer and I, we were like already like kind of talking like closely and like talking about like different things like and like getting into conversation. And the photographer and I end up living in the same borough. So I'm like, okay, bet. Photographer has also worked for like brands and things that I would love to work with. So I was like, okay, great. Like regardless, I'm gonna network with photographer, even if Diva doesn't want to like view me as like somebody she can network with throughout like the event that we're going to, which is like the main thing that we're there for him to create content for the influencer. Him and I are like talking about different things, but like we're all talking too, like with the other agency rep, the creator, but like I just noticed different points, when you could just feel it. And I could feel like him standing close to me at times. But then I was also like, no, Lex, like I was also feeling insecure in a way. So I had the thought of like, girl, why would he like you? Like, please. Because he also has access to a lot of different bitches. So I was like, no, like he's not attracted to you. Like I was just kind of floating. And then there were times where the influencer, because apparently him and the influencer were besties, even though they've only known each other for, it was weird. Because it was also serving a dynamic of like the influencer having a crush on the photographer, but the photographer like not. But like they work closely together, and the photographer also like obviously makes money off of the influencer. So the dynamic was weird, and it was something that I was trying to read because there was a moment where the influencer was like, oh yeah, the photographer, everybody always thinks the photographer is flirting with them, but like he's just friendly, like he just be conversating like that. And I was like, okay, bet. There was two thoughts that I had. I was like, okay, that's weird for her to say. I feel like she said that because she's trying to like put her foot down in a way about some shit. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could just be having a read on people, especially like when I don't know. I don't know. I could just feel when people are trying to like assert something sometimes. And I honestly, I haven't been claiming it, but I'm going to try to claim it now moving forward in my life. I do have a good read on people, and I feel like I could see things for what they are before like they flourish in a way. So I had that thought, and then I also had the thought of, okay, great. Like I don't have to worry about Jit like being attracted to me or liking me or making things weird because he's just like that. Bet like he could be a homie of mine. One of my really close straight guy friends that I refer to all the time is a photographer as well. So I was thinking of him. I was thinking of my friend JM. I was thinking of the straight men in my life that have not tried to make a pass at me, that we can like hang together and have like really still like good deep conversations with each other and it feel solely like a friendship. So I was like, okay, great, I don't have to like second guess anything because this whole time I've been like, is he flirting with me? Like, is he gonna try to like ask for my contact after this, or like what is it? And so that night she has a diva moment, blah blah blah. We're all at dinner with the brand, and the photographer is like looking at me at dinner in a way that as if like it's just him and I on a date. Like he's sitting across from me and it felt really intimate. Like he's like, so how's your Branzino? Like fucking flirting with me. And my manager is literally to the left of me. And I'm like, do you want to fuck or what? You know what I mean? Like what's happening? Cause I feel it. And I don't know if anybody else can feel it. But then I was also like, Alexis, Not everybody's obsessed with you. Like, please, bitch, everybody's obsessed with me. Okay. I am who I think I am. I need to shut the fuck up. Like, get the fuck out of my face. Do you see this? This wagon is here with or without sleep. Hello. Yeah, he's attracted to you, Alexis. Anyways, so dinner is good. We bring up vices, if you will. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't drink, but I do smoke. And he was like, oh, you smoke? Like, I just went to a dispensary earlier. I was like, oh, damn, like, that would have been dope. And we looked at each other like, and I feel like real smokers know, like, that look you give when it's like, oh, we finna smoke later was like the look we gave to each other. So after dinner, we're walking to the hotel, and it's him and I and the creator and like my manager ahead of us. And he's very tall, he's like above 6 feet. So when we're walking up into the hotel, like to end the night, he was like, come up in a little bit so we could smoke. I was like, okay, bet. And he like gave me a dab, like a little fist pump. So I was like, okay, homies, confirmed again. I don't have to worry about it. Like, we could smoke at night and it still be on a professional thing, like a professional nightcap, if you will. And so the influencer ends up wanting a drink nightcap with me, my manager, the photographer, and her at the hotel because it's just us staying there. And we're like, yeah, whatever, because you have to do whatever the creator wants because that's the talent, whatever. So we have a nightcap. Photographer sits across from me again. He's getting alcohol in his system and he's looking at me like he wants to EYP. Like he wants to E my P. You know what I mean? Like he was looking at me like he wanted to devour me. And I was still in my head. At this point, I'm on like, I've had like 6 hours of sleep in the last like 72 hours. So I'm exhausted. I'm like, Lex, you're delusional. Like, you probably look crazy right now. There's no way this man wants you like that. Like, you finna smoke? You finna go to bed. So after the nightcap, he texts me when we're in our hotel rooms. He was like, oh, come over in like 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, bet. I go over there. We're smoking. He smokes me out. It's respectful. But I could feel him getting like close. But it's like we're on his balcony. It's a little chilly. And it's just him and I. And so, like, I could feel his body heat. I'm not gonna hold you. I felt his body heat, but I'm gonna take it. Okay. Body heat, when I was in the fucking state that I was in, fantastic. It's like fucking currency at that point. You know what I mean? And so he's getting closer, whatever. But throughout, we're actually specifically talking about his ex, who's like a very recent ex. So I'm giving him like proper advice, blah blah blah. He's telling me that they're going on a trip soon, rada rada, for her birthday, but like they're not together because they know that they don't want to be together, but they have this trip because it's a milestone birthday and it's already planned, whatever. But we definitely don't want to be together, like we know that. Okay. He mentions like, I'm like, does he mention that yet? I don't know. But then he eventually like brings me close, starts to hug me. Mind you, prior to this, we related to each other on grief. He lost his father like 2 years ago or a year ago. I talked about losing Kylie and Nala. And so we related on grief. So when he went in for a hug, I still in my mind was like, but then I was like, well, no, like we talked about grief. Like I'm just gullible and I don't know, like I take vulnerability very seriously. So us relating on such a heavy thing like grief, I was like, oh yeah, of course he wants to give me a hug. Like I'll take a fucking hug. What? I will take a hug. I'll take a hug from a fucking homeless person at this point. Like definitely needed a hug in that moment. He's very long, so he's still holding on to me. And he goes, but like we're kind of like about to pull away from a hug, but he still has me like in his hold. And he's like, I want you to know I'm very attracted to you. And I was like, ¿Qué? Me? And he was like, yeah, like blah, blah, blah. I hope it's not like crossing a line. And I was like, no, like the only thing that's crossing a line for me, it's not the work aspect because like you don't work for my company, whatever. But the fact that you're kind of like in a lingering breakup. So I was like, I want you to know I'm attracted to you too, but I wouldn't want to like pursue anything with you until like time has passed and you're officially done. I was like, but thankfully we live in the same borough, you got my contact, so if anything changes, like hit me up, but like for now, like let's remain friends. He's like, yeah, for sure. He ends up wanting to like, he tries to kiss me multiple times. I keep telling him no, like I'm like, I'm not gonna kiss you, although I definitely wanted to. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like in that moment, the only thing stopping me, and it was wild because he was tempting me a lot, like OD, and a little forceful when I think about it at this point, because I can see like how much of a fucking weirdo he is. But the whole time I was like, why would God and the universe give me this beautiful man who I already know got that thing on him because I could feel it. On a work trip, hotel, like my fantasy, like my fucking boss is fucking, my fucking lead is a few doors down. That's another little kinky thing, just knowing like the bitch that hates you is down the way and you're gonna get railed. All of these like things that go within my fantasy for me to be day 2 on my period. Do you know what day 2 on your period means? I have blood gushing out of my vagina along with just straight shit coming out of me anytime I sit down. So I was like, why is this happening? Like, I deserve to get railed. And y'all know I choose celibacy. Like, I have never had a hoe phase. So getting the opportunity to do something a little hoish, if you will, I was super excited. But I was like, why is this happening? Like, why am I not able to pursue this? That is God. Mashallah to the people. Call Allah, tell him thank you. Hello? If I would have had sex with that man the way he wanted, I would have went crazy based on what happened after. So he's flirting with me, whatever. He's trying to tempt me. He may have whipped a titty out. Oh my God. I don't think I could talk about this during my happy, honey, healthy week. I'm so celibate, y'all. I'm not talking to a soul. Anyways, let's wrap up this fucking story. He's doing all that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not gonna do all that, whatever. And he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna get naked and go to bed then. Like, I want you to sleep over, but if you don't want to, like, that's fine. I was like, okay, get naked then. Cause what? You finna, like, just, like, I'm finna step out anyway. Just getting out. Like, let me see. Let me see. Since you're doing all that talking. And he did. And he did. And I was this close to be like, you down to lay a towel down? I was like, does blood bother you? I was about to be like, you ever seen motherfucking salt burn? Let's do it. I didn't. He had a very pretty, he was a beautiful man, especially from the collarbone down. I'm going to be real with you. Fuck that guy. But he was a beautiful man, beautiful body, beautiful, beautiful wee wee. It was all beautiful. I said no to it all, obviously. Thank God. Thank God. I went to bed. Next morning, he woke me up and he was like, oh, I'm about to smoke. I know you got a flight, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to smoke? And I love smoking before a flight, especially because I know I had a long ass flight. So we smoked before and we're like hugging, kind of like grazing lips, smoking, hugging. And he like freaks out for a second. He's like, where's my phone? Like he looked at his watch and I was like, it's in your pocket. Then is like, oh, I need to go handle something real quick, some family shit. I was like, okay. He leaves his stuff in my room, like his laptop, passport, flash drive, and goes to his room to take this phone call. And I was like, well, if it's family shit, that's kind of weird. Like all of your stuff's here. He leaves for about 20 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is happening? And whole time I've been thinking shit is fishy, right? So just keep that context. He comes back and he's like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll be right back. I'm going to see you in a minute. And I was like, no, like I'm about to go on my flight. And he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna see you like in New York. Like, definitely want to like continue this ride. I was like, okay, bet. He kisses me goodbye. Like, we're BFGF. Kiss me on the lips. Goodbye. Can't wait to see you. Okay, Papa. Love you. Bye. He leaves. I'm on my flight. Him and I are talking about work because he needs to edit this video. And then he goes, hey, sorry, did somebody that I know reach out to you? I said, I don't know. What's their name? I could look at my request. He was like, it's the woman I'm going to Brazil with. I remember I told you he was going on a trip with his ex-girlfriend, quote unquote. I said, your ex? Question mark. What did you talking about the woman? What are you talking about? We just had a full conversation. I know who this woman is. And why are you not claiming this bitch? Girl. Come to find out, the girl is like, apparently they're actually together. Come to find out, I'm gonna just get to it. They're together, obviously. He's a full on cheater, scary person. Mind you, he's like 36, 38, grown as fuck, acting like this. And we had multiple vulnerable moments, right? And I was clear on what I'm about when it comes to like whatever. But again, everybody wants to make me a fucking side bitch this fucking year. I don't know what it is. I know for a fact I don't serve side bitch. I know for a fact that I give that off the first fucking moment you meet me. But I think men like to take their chance. Is claiming to him, she hadn't reached out to me. She's claiming to him that she found me, she knew that he was with me in the morning, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, like, I don't I don't know who you're talking about. Like, if you want to tell me who it is, I can look, but like, I haven't gotten any message like that. I'm not responding. I'm not corresponding with anybody on like you or us. Like, it's been fucking 6 hours. No. And he's like, okay, sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm still up in the air, but I got Wi Fi. And he was like, you told her we fucked? I was like, first off, come to me correct. Second off, I never lie about my pussy. Never. I ain't never finna lie about who's been in it, who's not been in it. Get the fuck out of my face. No. Second, come correct, bitch. What the fuck you think this is? He was like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I just bit off, or what did he say? He said something like, I just won't, we never have to talk about this again. Actually, we should just never talk again. I was like, this is, and at this point, he's still claiming that's his ex. I was like, well, it seems like that's your girlfriend. He was like, what's as complicated as I said? And I was like, it wasn't complicated. You actually made it very fucking clear what it was. I thought we had a mature conversation like adults do. Because when things are complicated, you could say that as an adult. You could just use your words and like say the truth, right? Some people don't, some people don't, you know? Anyways, the problem starts kind of molding into work because since he's editing, like the client was already like upset and he wasn't doing shit on time and he wasn't doing it correctly. And it was just like, it became like a bigger thing than what it needed to. And it really affected me because it was within work. And when I worked at Facebook.com, I used to work at Meta when I lived in Austin. I was actually harassed by my boss there, who was a male, and they did a 3-month investigation and decided that since he's a white man, it wasn't harassment, whatever. That caused me to become a nanny, and that actually caused me to start therapy. That happened 7 years ago now. And so, with the photographer doing this and it being within work and like where I'm at with my career and all of these things, it was just like so triggering and so icky. And I've been so burned by men recently that it just pissed me the fuck off. And he started to harass me in a way because he kept on claiming that she was messaging me. And he was like, you're lying, you're a liar to me. And I'm like, motherfucker, FaceTime me right now. Let me share my motherfucking screen and I will show you who the fuck has been in and out of my motherfucking DMs. I don't give a fuck. One thing about me, I literally don't know how to lie. I only know how to be real and raw with you. Even if I look crazy, even if I look insane, even if the situation sounds insane, I have no problem with ownership. I could tell you if I want to be a side bitch. I could tell you if I want to be tricked out. I could tell you that. I have no problem being like, oh, I know you have a girl. Like, that's fine with me. I have no problem. I have no problem. I have no problem telling you, like, hey, found out you had a girlfriend and I let her know about me. I have no problem doing that. I have no problem telling you, hey, your girlfriend reached out to me. I did that with the NFL. Remember his reaction? He said, oh, shucks. I have no problem being real. Shout out to NFL, honestly, because he was real with it too. But this motherfucker was just, it was weird. I was like, this girl, you guys are fucking toxic. Get me out of it, you know? And he kept trying to like switch it on me. He was like, yeah, leave me alone. After I had said, leave me alone. And I was like, you're insane and you're driving me insane and I haven't slept. So blocked him everywhere, whatever. But that whole situation was just like a whirlwind of emotions and, you know, bringing it back to like the common topic for me with men and dating and self development. I was already at a place prior to this situation where I was like, you know what? I want to take a break from dating, you know, right now. Like, you know, I intentionally date. I definitely make it a pillar in my life when I am dating. And I know that I just don't have capacity or even the gentleness to date right now. And like the capacity with the amount that I want to do for work to truly like date. And, you know, that situation just made me see even more how important my career was or is based on like how strong that emotion was for me. And so, although that ended a little negatively, I want to segue into the proper point this week, which is how to have a mindset shift for the last 50 days of the year. We literally have 50 days left. I think when you're listening to this, we have 48 days left of the year to quote unquote lock in, but I'm going to consider it more of a locking out, right? We're locking out men, we're locking out dating, we're locking out things that don't serve us. And it doesn't even have to be men or dating. If you want to prioritize men dating, dating women, dating days, dating whatever the fuck you want to date, you could prioritize that. But locking out the things that don't serve you. And for me this year, dating and prioritizing men, not even I've never prioritized men, but prioritizing dating, because I have prioritized dating in a way of like, because it takes work to actually date with intention, is something that I'm locking out, especially these last 50 days of the year. So if you're somebody who wants to lock out for the last 50 days of the year, listen up. We got some tips and tricks for you. Okay. First one being starting with your morning. Everything starts with your morning. Like, duh. And I think as a generation, we really love the joke behind not giving the day a chance. And I do that. Like, I'm smoking as soon as I wake up, sometimes not giving the day a chance. And that is funny. However, we have to romanticize our mornings. And I know that buzz term is redundant. But when I say romanticize your morning, I simply mean finding fucking gratitude as soon as you wake up. Because for me, when I'm getting into like a really negative habit of not fucking with my life, because everything's mindset, right? Like everything is mindset. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much privilege you have, everything starts and ends with mindset. And so for me, when my mindset is not at its best, as soon as I wake up, before I even fucking open my eyes, I'm thinking about how I don't want that day to start. And that's unfair to anybody involved, like anybody. And it takes you and you only to rewire your brain to fucking stop doing that. And the only way to do that are to develop these best practices. And one being fucking finding gratitude every fucking moment you can. And it sounds foo foo and it sounds annoying, but it fucking works. That's why that 5 minute journal, I think, really works for beginners, especially when, even as a repeat offender, like I feel like I'm constantly a beginner in this journey of trying to fucking love life. And I always gravitate back to the 5 minute journal because it has that mini prompt for you to find gratitude in the morning and at night. And developing that practice for your everyday is such a good rewire to just open the way to having gratitude elsewhere, right? Like I said, you don't have to have money and all of the things to find gratitude. I'm talking about like waking up and the feeling of a stretch. You know, when you wake up and you have a good stretch, literally saying it like, oh, I'm grateful for that stretch. You got to say it. You got to say it because you are. Guess what? When you find that gratitude there, then you find the gratitude of, I have all four of my limbs. I'm healthy. I'm able to live today. I'm able to wake up to silence, to peace, you know? Hopefully you are. If not, you need to change your environment. Find a way. There's a will, there's always a way. Find a way. But finding gratitude in every place possible. I'm trying to even romanticize the coffees that I'm making. Obviously, I wish, the sun was out and it was bright and sunny and warm and there was a coffee shop around the corner and I could walk there and all of that. Obviously, the perfect morning exists, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't find the value the same and create it for myself with the means that I have and finding gratitude in that. And it always depends, right? Because a week from now, it would be difficult for me to even have this mindset, and that's okay. But being able to practice it every day and try and try and try is what's going to help you have a mindset shift and get you closer to whatever goal you have with using these last 50 days of the year. So, another thing you could romanticize is, going to the gym, everything, making your tea, brushing your teeth, the 15 minutes you allow yourself to read a fucking book, all of these little things, a phone call with a friend, finding gratitude in everything possible is a step in a best practice, again, for the overall picture. I know it sounds fucking stupid, but I promise you it's so needed for all of the other like best practices within finding peace in your everyday life and in your mind. Because at the end of the day, it's rewiring your brain to just find the positives. Because our brain is programmed to find the negatives, to find something to solve. So rewiring it to find the positives is necessary. And to do that, you have to find gratitude in every moment. I don't know how else to, I'm trying to beat it down your throat right now. Next is to envision your perfect morning. And I didn't say your perfect life because we're not there yet. We're taking baby steps, but your perfect morning. This is something that I did for a while prior to moving to New York City and pursuing creative entrepreneurship. I was in Austin and I was envisioning waking up, with my Nala bean, seeing the New York City sky, working on entrepreneurship. I was envisioning that. I was envisioning like literally waking up, window to the right, access to coffee in the house, living in New York. I'm healthy, Nala's healthy. I could drink water. I was just envisioning all of these things and not in a frivolous way, and don't fucking like, you got to be real with yourself. Like, I'm not imagining like, living in a billionaire's house and like, I'm not there yet. Like, I'm skipping a lot of fucking steps if I am envisioning that as my perfect morning. I think like you just got to be real with yourself on that. I don't know how else to think. And I think with finding the gratitude, you are able to be real with yourself, because for me, like, I desire all of these things, obviously, but like, when I think right now of what my perfect morning is, I'm not thinking of like this big house and all the things. Like, I'm thinking of little luxuries, absolutely, but I'm not thinking of like my end all be all, you know? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Just like, don't overdo it, is what the fuck I'm getting at. And so, with that, I would try to envision your morning, your perfect morning, quite often, whenever you can, and like kind of mix that within finding the gratitude. And also, ensure that you're starting with the gratitude and getting your mind used to that so that you can see what you like and what you don't like and what brings you joy and what doesn't. Realizing the small things that brings you joy is a big value in life. I think it's a form of currency to yourself, because when you have that awareness, you're able to give yourself that joy a little bit more often, right? Like, if I know that a coffee makes me happy, I'm gonna just get myself a fucking coffee whenever I can. You know what I mean? Like, it's that simple. So, do that. Envision what your perfect morning could be and imagine yourself in that morning. You have to really use your imagination to daydream. And, another layer on top of that, or another tip, is developing healthy fucking habits. And I'm gonna just name a few of my favorites. There's so many different healthy habits, and you can find what works best for you. For me, something that I've developed and I brushed on, I think, last episode, is not using your fucking phone as soon as you wake up and right before bed. Like, there should be at least an hour before bed and when you wake up where you're not on your phone and you're not scrolling and you're not emailing and you're not even texting, low key. And I know that's difficult. I even suffer from that for some mornings. Like, I literally just can't. But trying your best to accomplish that every day, to the point where it does become a, what's the word, a priority or like a must have, is going to change your nervous system. Because these fuckers right here, yes, they have a lot of value, they're great, whatever, they run the world, but they also cause a lot of stress. And you can control the access of what stress has to you. And I think the phone brings a little stress sometimes. Why? Because it's emails, it's text, it's all of these things and reminders of all the things you got to do. And I think the hour before you go to sleep and the hour after you wake up should be for you to fucking wake up and be in your mind for a second and not be in your to-do list and not be in the world of capitalism. You know what I mean? Like, our mind doesn't have to be that. And so it's like kind of a way to meditate, actively meditate, if you will. So with locking out for the next 50 days, I want us to really, because I feel like if you're proper, we share similar ways and being hyper productive and always wanting to figure out the next thing. And like, you probably work a lot, you probably do a lot of things, you're probably a parent, you're probably doing so many things and signing up for too many things because we're young, beautiful, fresh, and hot, but we're also individuals and people and not robots. And sometimes we sign up for too much. And so with locking ourselves out, I want us to romanticize rest. And romanticizing rest goes outside of just romanticizing those 8 hours we should be getting. I'm pointing at myself as well because I don't get 8 hours, although I really thrive off of getting 8 hours every day. But romanticizing rest also means simply resting your mind and romanticizing that, whether that be through watching a PR, like reality TV that week, or reading a book or whatever. That's all romanticizing rest and seeing the value. Like, oh my God, I love that I'm able to just read this book right now. I love that I'm able to enjoy my rent and sit on this couch and watch a show right now. I love that like, truly finding the gratitude within rest rather than only finding gratitude in the things that you have and not viewing rest as a currency or as a valuable thing. Like, I think really working on rewiring what rest looks like And this is coming from somebody who's like a creative entrepreneur and all the things. But again, I think if you're a mom, a dad, a parent, a fucking firefighter, whatever it is that you are, I think you could relate to this because we all, as products of capitalism, thrive on working, working, working. And especially if you come from non-American families, working is through survivalism and that's all you know sometimes. And so romanticizing rest for me, and I think you would relate, like I said, is kind of a new thing because we're not really allowed to rest. And we've programmed our minds to not like rest and to think resting is a bad thing. And so ensuring that we're romanticizing our rest really gives us that value to prioritize it more, which is necessary, especially for locking out the next 50 days. So I really want us to take these last 50 days of the year to romanticize rest, rest from our minds, rest from expectations from ourselves, from others, rest from work, rest from everything. And I know that's difficult. It's holiday season, but holiday season is about resting as well. And I think that's something we need to develop, especially during this Q4 season where everything is so go, 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 go. It's difficult. Like everybody's doing fucking 75 hard and 30 hard and nothing soft, whatever. I'm a soft body baddie romanticizing rest for the last 50 days this year. Hello. So that's your little lesson on shifting your mindset the last 50 days of this year. I hope you got some value here. If you didn't, please let me know how I can improve. If you haven't already, I would love it if you rated this podcast 5 stars only. There is no freedom of the stars here. I would love it if you shared this podcast. And I want to thank you guys who did comment and reach out to me from my last couple episodes because I was coming from a very negative place and I, was calling out my silent listeners and just begging for reassurance and you guys gave me the reassurance. I appreciate you so much and it goes such a long way and it's never repetitive. Truly know that I love the reassurance. I do it. It really does keep me going and it's the reminder that people are listening, people do value my words and my entertainment. People value the hour that I give them that week to escape. I need to value that. And so hearing from you guys helps me value me and gives me that fuel and that gas to go. You know what I mean? So thank you. I love you guys. I really do. If you're still listening in this moment, thank you. I'm wrapping up. I love you so much. I hope you enjoyed the story times this week's episode, and I will see you next week. Bye.